Now, this wasn't my usual read. I'd probably even go as far as saying this might have been one of the oddest books I've read in a long time, and I have read my fair share of unusual literature. So we join PJ Halliday, who is a 63-year-old million-dollar lottery winner who should be the happiest man in town, in Pondville in fact. But of course he isn't. Instead, winning the lottery hasn't stopped him from remembering everything that's gone wrong in his life. And he just so happens to be best friends with his ex-wife and her long-term partner. Safe to say that's a little bit of an unusual relationship dynamic. But PJ hears of the sad passing of his childhood sweetheart's husband and decides that he's absolutely going on a week-long road trip, despite having had his license revoked, to win her back. But in the midst of this wild decision-making, he learns of a tragic incident involving his estranged brother's wife, and he is now sole guardian to his long-lost great niece and nephew. Well, this won't seem to stop him from his hunt for true love, and why wouldn't you want to go cross-country with two newly orphaned kids who don't know you from Adam? And whilst you're at it, rope in your daughter Sophie, whose relationship with you isn't the smoothest. And let's not forget Pancakes, a former therapy cat with a knack for predicting death, who's taken this family in as his own. What could possibly go wrong? Something about this just felt odd. The story is undeniably out there, and I could absolutely see what the author was aiming for. You know, beneath all the absurdity and the humour, this road trip was all about healing family wounds, reconnecting with loved ones, and learning how to move forward. I just don't think it quite reached its full potential. Don't get me wrong, the moments of laughing out loud and madness were all there, and I did enjoy reading my way through it. The dysfunctionality of the entire road trip felt somewhat real. I did like the way this story was broken down into each day of the trip, so you could really place yourself there at the time, alongside all the hoops, the trip-ups, the shenanigans. You can only begin to imagine what was going on. However, this is written in third person, and the narrative shifts between characters without much signposting. So I occasionally found myself having to work out whose perspective I was reading, which it kind of took me out of the story at times. As I mentioned, the relationship dynamic between PJ and his ex-wife felt slightly uncomfortable for me. Now, I understand sometimes marriages break down and people involved can still be very amicable. I respect that wholeheartedly, but this just felt a little off and unconvincing to me. The story essentially brought the element of finding joy even through the darkest of times with the use of comedy. Now, we all do this from time to time, so that in itself was very relatable. Who doesn't tend to cover trauma with humour? I know I certainly do. Overall, I never quite emotionally connected with the story, whether that was the unresolved threads, the sheer number of bizarre situations, or just the way some of the heavier themes never felt fully explored. I just found myself at arm's length from the characters. But at its heart, this is a story about finding hope after loss. Life is rarely a straight road, and sometimes the people that we least expect become the ones who help us move forward. Now, whilst this wasn't entirely for me, I can definitely see readers enjoying its quirky humour, the heartfelt moments, and wonderfully unconventional cast of characters.